Alright guys, I am back with another weekly manga review video. We got all 3 chapters this week. One Piece returned in a big way. But out of all these chapters, I have to give this week's best chapter to Bleach because it was awesome. Very good chapter from Bleach this week. But to start with Naruto, chapter 604, Reunion and. This is more of the Obito flashback. Obito's decked out in the Zetsu armor, the clone armor. And he's going to leave. He's going to go try and save Rin and Kakashi. And Madara says, "So you're leaving?" And Obito says, "Yeah, and I'm probably never coming back. And thank you for saving me, but I'm not coming back." And Madara says, "You'll be back, and then you can truly show me your gratitude." So Obito takes off. He heads towards the battlefield. And on his way, because he's got one Sharingan and Kakashi has the other, he starts to see these flashes of what Kakashi's seeing. And he sees Rin, who's injured. So he's heading towards the battlefield. There's these explosions going off, and then he shows up and he sees Kakashi with the Chidori on Rin. And Obito's just shocked at this. So he doesn't really know what to make of this. We don't know what's going on. We don't know why Kakashi has killed Rin. My first thought was, when did that happen? With Haku and Zabuza. When they were fighting and Haku killed himself to save Zabuza, I thought maybe that's what was going on here, but I'm not really sure. And this is going to be a huge revelation to see why Kakashi killed Rin. And for Obito, this is definitely what sends him over the edge. So I thought this was a pretty good flashback, but not a whole lot of action or anything this week. But it was good. It was a good storytelling here. So on to Bleach chapter 510, The Extinction. Oh man, this chapter was awesome. It was weird though, because the first page is like these doctors in blackface, is what it looked like to me. And I have no idea why. But they're telling the story of Lloyd and Royd. And they're these Quincy's with the third eye. And they were born as twins, and it's just a backstory on them for the first couple pages and how they can mimic anyone. And basically that's what happened. That's who Yamamoto's been fighting this whole time, was Royd. So he wasn't really fighting Juha Bach, which is impressive, seeing as this Quincy was able to stand up to Yamamoto, or at least not be completely disintegrated just being in his presence. But anyways, let's see here. Juha Bach blows up. The real Juha Bach shows up. Once Yamamoto sees what's going on here, Juha Bach arrives, blows up the First Division bunker, and then he kills off Royd. And Yamamoto asks, "What's going on?" He's freaking out, and Juha Bach says, "Do you know what's under the First Division bunker?" And Yamamoto is shocked, and he says, "I want to talk to Aizen." So that was huge, and I knew something like this was going to happen. I knew Aizen would end up getting released somehow, and I thought it was a really great twist to this story to have Juha Bach show up, blow up the First Division, say he wants to talk to Aizen. He actually tried to recruit Aizen at one point, and Aizen turned him down. So I don't know what he wants to talk to him about, but I'm sure it's something about getting him to join him or something. But anyways, he slashes towards the sky with a sword, and this huge arrow thing comes down. And he creates his own gigantic light sword. And Yamamoto tries to do his Bankai. I know I'm kind of getting the timeline here mixed up. I think he tried to go Bankai right after the First Division bunker. But he tries to go Bankai, and Juha Bach steals his Bankai. And it's not that they couldn't steal it before, it's just that the other Quincy's weren't powerful enough to contain such a strong Bankai. So now that Juha Bach has his Bankai, Yamamoto's powerless. He takes this light sword and he just cuts him. And I think this is going to be the end of Yamamoto. I said as soon as they started fighting that I think Yamamoto is going to die, and Juha Bach has something planned here. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, this was a clone that he was fighting the entire time, or an impersonator. And now that the real Juha Bach showed up, it's just all hell's gonna break loose. And he wants to free Aizen, so even if Ichigo arrives, something's gotta happen here. It's really awesome. I really loved Bleach this week. So on to One Piece chapter 683, The Ice-Like Lady. Cover story is Karabo's brother is coming to save him. He's about to be burned alive at the stake, and his brother has arrived, and Karabo is yelling, "Hurry up." So that's continuing. Luffy is still fighting Monet. And, well, they're not really fighting. He's just kind of imprisoned in this giant block of snow. And she's got like 10 layers stacked on here, and then she tries to, I guess, knock him out by freezing him. Just kind of making him fall into this deep sleep. So Luffy hits the ground and just smashes everything because he can't break out of the ice, so he's just going to break through the floor. And he falls down this huge air duct into the garbage can, is what Monet calls it. It reminded me a lot of Star Wars, how they end up in the garbage compactor. So Luffy's out of commission right now. Monet says there's no way to escape that place unless you can fly. And this is typical shonen stuff here. The really powerful character ends up getting stuck somewhere so that they can't fight. Like when Luffy was stuck in the water and the concrete during the Arlong fight. Just little things like that where the main character is always just taken out of commission for a while. So this is kind of just typical stuff here while the other characters get some fights in. Luffy's going to be out of it for a little bit, I think. But I was fine with that. So the other Straw Hats are trying to stop the kids who still want the candy. They're beating up Chopper. They're trying to get into the Biscuits room, and Robin is using giant hands to hold them back, and everything they try because they don't want to hurt the kids. They can't stop them if they're not going to hurt them. So everything is just powerless against these kids. They're deranged children, and they're running, and they're after this one girl, Mocha, who has the candy. She's one of the good kids who doesn't want to take the candy anymore, and Monet shows up. And that's the last thing we see of it, is Usopp telling Zoro, that's the lady I was telling you about. Also in the beginning of this chapter, I feel I should mention the little girl who saw Momosuke turn into a dragon. She's talking about this secret room, and it's just a quick page where the scientists, henchmen guys are telling her, just don't mention that to anyone else. Don't mention what you saw in the secret room. So we see Virgo, who is destroying Law at this point, just beating the crap out of him. I think he's using haki techniques, kicking him and just knocking him out. Law tries some type of attack, this shocking move, and it stuns Virgo for a little bit, and then Virgo says, I have a message from Joker, what a shame. And then he goes to kill Law with his heart. He's trying to crush his heart, and Smoker shows up. And that was it. That was the end of this week's chapter. I thought they got some good action in, along with setting up some fights with possibly Zoro and Monet. I don't know who's going to be matched up with who yet, because there's still a lot more to see happen here. Sanji got a little bit of Virgo so far, but it looks like Smoker's going to be fighting Virgo. It's crazy. So I really enjoyed all 3 chapters this week. The flashback with Obito I find very interesting. I know some people may think it's moving a little slow, but I'm into it. Bleach was great, and One Piece was also setting up some future events. So I really did enjoy this week's chapters. Hope you guys liked this video. Leave your thoughts on this week's chapters in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Bye.